You're tuned in to Black Queens Uncut. Grab your wine, your vape, or whatever you need to relax so we can get into this queen chat. I'm Monique Lovelace.
I'm Kiki Boom Boom.
And today is a topic that I feel like we're all excited about. We have, actually, let me go back and say, TK hasn't joined us today. She had a prior event, so she's not in the building, but you know we're still going to hold it down for our girl. And we have somebody sitting with us that I absolutely adore, who is beautiful, such a queen, Camille Bright. She's a triple threat when it comes to acting, singing, and dancing. Hi, Camille.
Hey, queen. What's up?
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey. We are excited to have you. We're excited to have every guest. So we're glad that you came on and joined us for this specific topic. Today, we're talking about kind of like the dating phase. And it's funny because I feel like I always do all the talking, but I'm going to make this quick. I literally went out on this date. I haven't been dating like that because I always feel like in LA, I never get asked out. But I went on this date. This dude fell into my DMs. He asked me out. We went out. It was cool. I thought it was a cool vibe. But then he did ask me this question that I didn't have an answer to. And I have to be real about it because we transparent on here, okay?
Okay.
So he asked me, what is the gentleman version for women when we start dating? Like, what do the women bring to the table in the beginning when we start dating? Because he said, we pay for the food, we open the doors, we have to make sure that if anything is happening, we gotta I was
like, sir. Okay.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. He was like, so what is the lady version of being a gentleman when you first start dating? So let's start off with this question. What do you feel is a woman's role, if any, during the dating phase?
Show up. No, I mean, it's tricky for me because I'm gonna be honest, I'm back in the dating world and I feel very uncomfortable. Like, I honestly, that's a good question. I'm like, shoot, what am I bringing to the table? But I really do think it is showing up, but it's also just showing interest. I think that I tend to have a kind of a tough exterior a bit, and maybe I don't seem approachable. And so I think for me, it's learning to be a little bit more soft and actually letting the guy just be himself and be the guy. I think that I have a little bit of a time where I think I want to plan this and, if he doesn't do that, then, but it's just like, no, relax. Let him be himself. But I do think in the beginning, I kind of need to know by that first date how to gauge you. So I don't really know what my role is, I think, until you show me who you are, because I'm an energy matcher. And so if you're not actually giving me pressure, I'm not giving you none. But if you're like planning dates and you're like, so what are you doing today, babe? Like, can we do this and that? And then I'm like, I feel like I can trust my girly, lovable self with him. But if not, you getting all this gangster shit. You seen that meme recently, right?
Right.
If I like you, I'm soft. But if not, you're going to catch all of this gangster. And that's kind of how I feel like I need to see in the beginning, because you're the man. I like to be led personally. So if you lead me to believe that I can trust you and you lead me to believe that I'm safe with you, then therefore I become a different woman. But I don't actually know who I'm going to get until you show me, So I do think there are kind of responsibilities to kind of allow a man to want to keep dating you, but that's only once you show me, because you're still the man and I need to know like you are a man and how you handle me, and I can know how to handle you.
Right. Camille, as we're going into this, how long have you been on the dating scene thus far?
I guess like 4 months or so. Let me see.
Yes.
Yeah, 4. Yeah. So very fresh. And I was in a relationship for 3 years. So I'm like, a lot changes in 3 years. Like, I did download an app for the first time the other day, but I was so like, what do you do here? It was like weird. It was uncomfortable. I kept swiping. It was just kind of disappointing, So I've really been asking questions like my girlfriends and like, so what do we do now? And then what do we bring to the table? Because I do think a lot of men expect a little bit more nowadays than they used to. And I'm a Southern girl, so I come from like expecting the man to do all of it, really. But I have my own way of being now because I just know what I feel like might actually work for real in 2021 versus like what I was taught from, my parents. But it's tricky.
Right. It's very tricky to navigate. Kiki, what you think? What you think? Because you're in the dating scene thing too? I feel like you're in New York, so right now it's a little.
I think it's a good question. My only thing, the thing that I would change, I wouldn't make it gender specific. I would like if I'm asking that question, I'm asking what are you bringing to the table, not what do women bring to the table? Because as a man, I do X, Y, and Z. What do men like? I think it's weird because there are some women who date men who don't do any of that. And I think that's dope that there are men who open the door and they do what they're supposed to do and they pay on the first date, but there are men who don't do that. And there are some women who actually like to lead. So I like it when it's less gender. Like if a man asks me, what do you bring to the table? I would be caught off guard because one, it's a good question. And I'm like, damn, okay, he wants to have a conversation. That's the type of shit I like. You know what I'm saying? Because there are some men who don't communicate. There are some men who are boring on dates. So sometimes the women, I can't say men and women. I can speak for myself. Sometimes I've had it in situations where I'm like pulling teeth and I'm like, but I don't want to make that man specific because I know there are some women like that. So I think it's a dope question. Like, what are we bringing to the table? For me, I'm not really in the dating scene. I think because so I live in LA, but I've been working from home for like 6 months. So out here, I've kind of been like having a good time and kind of tapping in with like old people that I knew, and I don't want to call that dating because I'm not really dating them. So I haven't been part of the dating scene in a while, but I'm actually excited to get back into it. It is a little scary when it comes to like downloading apps and doing all that stuff because it's bleh, I hate it. But then when you get bored, you re-download it and you're like, all right, let me see.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Talking about.
That's
me every month. Every month I delete it, I download it, delete it, download it. So but yeah, I think that's a good question. But for me, it's more like, what do you as an individual bring to the table? Not like, what do women do? Because as a man, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, baby. And not a lot of men do that.
Right.
And like Camille said, it's like an energy matcher. So like, if you give me that energy and you're putting in the effort and you're saying, and you're planning the date, then me as Nakia, then I'm going to match that energy and be like, damn, if he's doing X, Y, and Z, let me do something. So
right, exactly. Yeah. And I relate to what you were saying too. I feel like I've been in this like recycle mode. It feels safer to date people that you might have used to date, but maybe that you just didn't burn the bridge too crazy. So it's like, well, what are you up to now? Because the new stuff is like, I got to deal with your new bullshit. But if I knew you, at least I know your old junk. Like,
it's like, hey stranger, I'm in your neighborhood, I'm in your town. But I will say I did a dope cleanse though, because I was like, yo, the full moon ritual, I was like, God, get rid of all the old. I'm ready for the new. Get rid of it all. And let me tell you, when the universe and God are very funny, they're all gone. And I'm here like, oh, wow, okay, I have no hoes. Like, there's just no here. It's just my mom and my friends that text me. But that's teaching me
I do miss that roster. I miss it.
I miss dating, but I'm actually happy because the universe and God listens, or whoever you look to as a higher power, they listen. And I was like, get rid of all the people who do not belong in my life, and that's including the men. And I'm learning how to re-love myself and go on that journey. So when that next guy comes into my life, I can figure some shit out. So it's a little tough. I ain't gonna lie, a little tough.
But get it, girl. We right there together, girl.
It's totally. I believe it is too, but I thought it was a good question because I sat there and only thing I could think of was like, I bring myself. Like, me bringing myself should be enough because my best friend, he'd be checking me. He'd be like, yo, you're a little guarded, even though his ass is guarded as well.
I just got told that like by one of my gay guy friends. We were out in Miami. He said the same exact thing. He had like, sis, you like need to let that guard down. I'm like,
yes. And I looked at him and I'm like, bestie, you're guarded. What are you talking about? So we point each other out as we are vibing with other people. And so I try to be intentional about not being guarded when I show up. When I say yes, like I'm intentionally saying yes and I'm not showing up with this guard on. So I felt like with my answer, I felt like that was good enough.
No, that's a good answer.
I mean,
that's good. Like you ladies get guarded. So for me, I get the opposite. I'm intimidating because I'm so friendly. So when I'm out, I talk to everybody. So some guys find that very intimidating. So now I'm learning to kind of I'm learning to listen because every guy's different. Because some guys like a woman who kind of like takes charge and there's some guys who don't. So I just think in any situation I'm in next, I'm just going to listen to the person to see where they're coming from. Because every guy is different. Every girl is different. We all want and like different things. But I used to get like, oh, you're so intimidating, or oh, you're too friendly, you know everybody. And I'm like, bitch, I can't help it that I have a great personality. Either you need to get on the same page as me, or like, I don't know what to tell you.
Speaking of like alpha females, do you guys shoot your shot at guys? Do you like slide into the DMs? Are you like, hey, what's going on? Do you do a little wave? Like, are we shooting our shot as alpha females? Or
I'm laughing because I just made a TikTok video telling girls, I'm like, shoot your shot, ladies.
But you do it. That's the thing.
Okay, here's the thing. I stopped, and now I'm getting back into it. So I used to when I was on the East Coast, and then a lot of times I would get like, oh, I'm intimidated, or sometimes that's a little too aggressive. Then when I moved to LA, I kind of stopped a little bit because, you know, I got a little insecure, like living in LA and dealing with certain guys. Now I'm kind of in this phase as I'm getting older where it's like, you know what, fuck it. Like, and the TikTok I pretty much made, and I think I'm going to put it on our Queens Uncut Instagram page. It's literally me telling women, and I'm talking to myself, and I'm saying, ladies, shoot your shot. Some men may not like it, but those are the ones that you're weeding out anyway, and you don't want those ones. The ones who like it, they're going to appreciate it, and they're going to go with it. So that's where I'm at now.
Look at Camille's face. She's a Southerner.
I like it because I'm like taking it in, and it's like, okay, I guess I have been kind of shooting my shot, but I don't know if I felt like it was because, well, actually, no, that's a lie. I have been a little bit. I've slid in a DM or two before, but at the same time, I still like to be approached. I need to still. I like that feeling, you know, and I think that's why I have an issue with the apps and stuff, because I still have this traditional way of wanting to meet somebody, you know what I mean? And I really want to feel like once I'm with them, like you approached me. I don't know, like I just, something about that means something to me. But at the same time, I don't want to limit my blessings by maybe not stepping up or giving the right vibe or energy to allow it to come to me. You know what I mean?
So that's the perfect way to say it. That's so perfectly you said it, because that's exactly how I feel. Like I want to be approached, but I'm also at this point where I'm like, damn, I guess I'm going to have to start doing, because guys tell me now that they're like, we actually like being approached. We're shy. We like, and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, like for instance, literally the other night. So because I'm new on the scene, I think I also don't now know how to even read when a guy is interested.
Yeah,
and I think
so
because
hard.
I was also like a girlfriend for so long at that point. Like I was in a relationship for 3 years. So I think I kind of just checked out of even looking or even trying to be fresh. Like I just turned all that off. You know what I mean? Because I am known to be a little flirtatious. So I'm like, I've worked on myself in my relationship, you know, making sure, you know, we kept that. So I just am not peeping it anymore. But a guy walked past me and he was like, oh, I like your hair. And I was like, thanks. And I looked back at my phone or whatever. And my girlfriend's like, it's like, girl, did you see him? He was fine, girl. He said you like your hair. He brushed up against you. I'm like, oh, do you guys think that was like a move? Or like, they're like, girl, I don't know, but you should say something. So I like kind of like stood back like, okay. And I look over and the guy was still like looking at me. So I was like, okay, well, I guess that was like a move, right? So then he's looking, I'm looking. And I'm also now trying to practice my little sex eyes from across the room, because I used to be good at that. Now I'm like, does it work anymore?
It don't work.
You know, are people picking up? Because I used to stare you down and have a, you know, but now I'm like a little intimidated myself. So I'm like,
right.
You know, it gets a little
I'm the same way.
You'll be like, oh shit, I'm staring way too long. Like,
right.
What's going on here?
But long story short, it worked out. I did end up going up to him. They piped me up. I walked over to him and I was just like, hi. He was like, well, it took you long enough. And I was like, oh.
I know that's right.
Gee,
well, I
like that.
Right. I do hear a lot of guys say that they don't know now because of the #MeToo movement, because of,
and he said it too. He said, I didn't actually know if you were interested, like if you would even come over to say anything. He's like, so I kind of lingered over here. Like we had a whole moment about it being awkward. And so I was just glad that it got past that. And he was like, but I'm glad you came over. I was like, yeah, so that'd be cute for you. He said, that'll be cute for us. I said, oh. So he was giving me lots of energy from the beginning, and he was very handsome. And I really did neglect to notice. I think, like I said, I just been in my own world and like so used to just not even having to do any of that. But I'm not mad at it. Like once again, back to energy. Like you gave it to me, so I walked over. You looked back at me. You gave me a moment. I went. But if it would have been, nah, I'm not doing all that. You know, I'm not gonna put myself out there that crazy. Right. If I didn't get anything.
Right. Not if you don't get anything. Now, I have said it before. I am a hunter. Like I'll go out because I don't really feel like I get talked to by guys that I'm attracted to. Right. So like if I see a guy kind of that I find attractive, I will say, hey, like, I hate, like, I used to do the stare and the smile, but everything goes on so much. And I've heard so many guys be like, well, I don't know, because the hashtag Me Too movement, I don't know now. Like, I don't want to be aggressive, like, So now I just kind of like eye look, and then I'll smile and maybe give like a wave, like, come over. Or like if it's a text situation, or we've kind of like talked before, or we had a setting where I've seen you, it's just kind of like I'll drop in the DMs and be like, oh, it was nice meeting you, blah, blah, blah. We should grab a drink some night or whatever. Just kind of chill. That's another thing my best friend told me too. He was like, you got to start shooting your shot. And I was like, ah.
Now, have you slid in the DMs before? Have you actually like done that shot?
I wouldn't. Yes. I will. I can't lie. Yes. Mm-hmm,
okay.
Yes. But it was after meeting the person.
Gotcha.
Like, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, she's so fine, let me slide into the DMs.
Right.
Never that. Like, never that. But I have a former friend. She used to be scrolling on Instagram and be like, oh, he's so fine, and slide into the DMs. And I'm like, girl, you just gonna go in the little request thing. They would be coming back at her. Like,
right.
I know, that's right.
There's a little game I feel like I play on IG too, where it's like I'll go in like OD like a bunch of pictures or something like that and not say anything, and just see if you'll follow me back or say anything. So then it knows like, okay, well, you might be a little bit interested or something. And it worked the other day, actually. And I really didn't think that this man was gonna like even acknowledge me, because he low-key had like 1 million followers. And I was like, well, I mean, he cute. Right. I'm still gonna like the pictures because he cute. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna say nothing. He ain't gonna notice. Well, next thing I got a little, how you doing? By the end of the night, I was like,
I know that's right. I think what it is.
How am I doing?
I think for like women, especially for myself, it's us. Like for me, I have a fear of rejection, and that's why, like, though I would shoot my shot when I wanted something, I didn't really enjoy it. And I think now time is going on where I'm learning, like, you got to get over the fear of rejection. The worst someone can say is no, or I tweeted that. My friend was like, oh, they could be like, ew, get out my DMs. And I'm like, and then you find them and you slap them. But even if they say that, you block them. And I think for me, it's like, Nakia, you got to get out of your head. You got to get out the rejection. Like, a lot of times guys also want to feel approached. I would prefer for them to do the approaching, but everything like you ladies said, like, I have to learn how to get over the fear of rejection and keep it moving. So that's why I made that TikTok video where I was like, ladies, shoot your shot. I know why we didn't do it. I know why we don't like to do it, but now we should just do it. Weed out the ones who don't answer, and the ones who feel like we're too aggressive, fuck them. They're not for you anyway.
Right. That's how I feel. If you feel like I'm too aggressive, then you don't want to see me on a daily basis anyway.
And move on. So there you have it. You'll be somebody else's blessing, and I'll meet somebody else. So I think women going forward, we should do it more often.
Right. I will say this before we go into our sponsor. I will say this, that I did recently shoot my shot at somebody that I've been feeling for a while. And but he's not single. Oh. So I didn't shoot my shot in the way that was like, oh, let's hook up. I shot my shot like, yo, if you ever become single, let me know. That's right.
Call me.
And so let me know, because I don't want to step on any other queen's toes. Like, you and your queen good, y'all gonna be good. But if y'all not, like, just know that when you done with that, don't come over here with no mess.
Hit me, y'all know hotline bling.
Hey. If I'm available, we can, make this happen. And he was like, okay. He did say, wow. He was like, wow, okay, cool. I got you. Like, okay. So I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. But I'm on the hunt because, girl, ladies, listen, I'm 33. I don't mind putting it out there. I'm 33. I'm about to be 34 this year. I'm traveling. I'm living my best life.
I know that's right.
And I'm ready for the next level. Like,
amen, as you should be.
As you should. And I think, like, women, we should know what we want. We know what we want, and we should go for the things that we want. And now that we're getting older, we've seen things in our 20s. We've seen the shit that worked and didn't work. So that's why I said going forward, we should shoot our shot more often.
Yeah, and I think be specific about what you want too. And then once you do find it, like, that it could be something, like, I think it's about letting yourself try, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like once again, we were saying, it's the guard being let down and just being soft, I think, and letting a man allow you to be feminine, to be what's the word, doted over. And like, I think those things are special. And I think sometimes guys are like overlooking that. Like, but that's what makes a woman a woman. Like that makes us feel like we want you and we're going to cook for you. We're going to do those things because of how you give it to us. But you have to feel safe enough to let that happen, I feel like.
You really do. And I do want to say more, but let's get into the sponsor real quick. Okay. So LaWand is a perfect way to go into this. If you're dating in a relationship or you are single, LaWand is perfect. It is a woman-founded premium brand of personal vibrating massagers that bring unparalleled quality to a notoriously sketchy industry. LaWand originated as one hell of a classic wand and has now become a full line of best-in-class, heart-pounding, hair-raising toys. Let me tell you, Queen and family, we have our products. We've been using them. Well, I can't speak for everybody, but I've been using mine.
Hey, get it, girl. Okay?
Listen, I'm single. I also use mine. Even if you're not single, but
drop the link for me.
Yes, we've been enjoying our LaWand products. They are great. Highly recommended.
Yes, and when you are ready, like Camille just said, you can find the link right at Queens Uncut on all social media platforms. You can go straight to our IG, our Instagram, and you will see the beautiful products that they have. I just posted, they have crystal products too. They have a whole crystal line. So, you get aligned with your chakras as you are,
Y'all got some high tech stuff. I clearly need to step my game up.
Yes.
My little joint ain't doing all that. I'm single too, so we got a little something in the drawer, but it sounds like I need to step my game up. So that sounds dope.
And they're luxurious products. So they're very beautiful, very nice. They're weighted, which means they're really nice products. I love
weighted. No, let me stop.
I highly recommend them. Everything is diverse. They have a diverse collection.
Yes. And we just had our Anal August episode with the product educator, Tracy. So, she goes over the products. So make sure y'all catch that episode. Because, she had us all educated, ready. Like,
that was an amazing episode.
It was.
We learned a lot, and the audience will definitely learn more about Tracy and more about the LaWand products and more about the company.
Definitely. So make sure y'all head over to our IG to find their links, or you can head over to theirs at LaWand Massager or lawandmassager.com. So yes, things like that are just perfect, especially when you are dating. And, in the dating phase, it's really, I feel like nowadays you don't know. Like even us, I've been not dating. Well, I haven't been in a relationship in 4 years, going on 4 years now. And even now I still ask myself, like, what is going on? Because I feel like I don't date enough now. I'm like, dude, okay, so this is another thing that people have been talking about, and I want to address this. So do you pay as a woman? Would you be willing to pay on like the first, second, or third date?
Maybe the third.
I was going to say, like, okay, I have two sides to this. I'm going to make it quick. I believe on the first date, if you're in a straight heterosexual relationship with a woman and a man, I believe the man should pay. But I believe if we are dating, it should be 50-50. So if we start to continue to date and we're going on dates, I should be able to pay for some dates as well. And I have no problem with that but when I do that, I date men who are like, put your bag down. What are you doing? But I do think you should offer when you're dating someone. But then I'm also in this other part where it's like, damn, if I offer the date and I say, hey, we should do X, Y, and Z, should I pay? Like, this is something that I've been asking myself, like, I'm offering. So I feel like, and this is me at, I don't mind saying my age, 35 talking. I am learning. I am growing. Because me at 25, I would have been like, hell no. No. But me at 35, I'm like, but damn, if I ask this dude out on a date and I'm saying, yo, we should do X, Y, and Z, I feel like I should. But I also believe men should pay for the first date. So I know it sounds really ironic. It sounds weird. It doesn't make any sense. But I do believe that, like, women, we should, if we're dating, we shouldn't have a problem offering.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you ish. I feel like, completely on the first date. Like, I just don't feel like there's any other way to go about it. Especially if that's the part where you said at the end, like if I did approach you now I do feel like, should I? But if you did come to me, like you said, as a heterosexual situation, like, isn't that the rules? I don't know. And if it's not anymore, it's not a rule that I'm willing to bend on. I'm just going to say that.
Listen, you don't even got to hold my door. I could do that. But as a man, I just think in the first date,
just for sure. But once again, I'm going to stick to my energy matching situation, because if you did take me to a very nice first date and you planned it, and then the second date, you were still that same energy by the third date, I probably feel like, wow, you're dope. You know what? I might, for me, so it doesn't even get awkward, I might even go to the waitress and give her my card. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I'm like, yo, he's dope. He's been consistent. I mean, if we went to fancy places, maybe you already spent $200-$400 on, the first and second date. Maybe like, okay, I do like you, so you should know that by my now actions with you. You know what I mean? So I feel like maybe by a third date, because at least it allowed me to figure you out. So I now know what to do. Because when I feel the energy's good, I actually don't mind paying, Me
neither.
But once again, I'm with you where it's like, but I also want a guy who's like, girl, put that bag up, girl. Like, what I mean? But just don't charge my heart for it, because I pulled out the bag.
And that part, and like, I don't have no problem picking up my bag and putting my car. And like, I want you to know that when we're on our third, fourth date, like, yo, you've done dope things for me. I also don't mind. Because again, I feel like once we get into a relationship, some things should be 50-50. And that's like going on dates. And I've dated guys where I'm like, oh, and they, some guys are like taken back by that, because they're like, no, what are you doing? And then I don't argue that. I'm like, okay, you gotta tell me twice. Right. But just know I have it on any other occasion. So I
tend to be a dessert person. I'll get dessert.
Yes,
right. Or drinks. Like I'll be like, okay, I'll get drinks. This is one thing. Okay, so I have a couple of different approaches. So to get around what you was talking about, Kiki. For me to ask you out, I really don't ask people out. Like, even though I said, we can link and have like drinks or whatever, I usually don't ask the guy out. I'll approach the guy, but I'll let him lead to kind of like ask me out, to be like, when we going to get together, or when am I going to get to see you again? Okay, cool. Now we have a date. You already asked me. Good. So I try to get around that situation, but with the first, second, and third date. Okay, so when it comes to the third date, I feel like once you've gotten to the third date, because I'm barely getting to a second date. So once you got to the third date, like, I think I will take a Patty Stanger approach, which is, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be like, let me take you out to dinner, but I may cook, or I may like do like a cute little picnic situation or something like dope.
Yes.
That was thought out. That was really thought out, that maybe he hasn't done before. And I'm saying in a heterosexual situation, a cisgender situation, because I like men. So, it's just one of those things where something dope, where I'll listen to what he said during conversation and be like, oh shit, he's never done this. Okay, boom, let's put this together. And let's kind of go about it, this approach a little bit different. So it's not just always like a dinner date type situation. And then, I would pay for it, but I don't feel like, we're doing the same thing over and over again. And you can see something a little bit different. And it was a little like thought out. So that a little more went into this situation than just paying.
Yeah, so I like that approach though. That's really like, that's cute, And I think that a lot of guys, once again, they need to see that to know, like, how to handle you. Because it's like, if I took this time to think this through and do this for you, now the next time, once again, you be matching my energy, right? So, sir. So you picnics, like spa day. I mean, what are we doing?
That part.
Because literally, like, and this is the thing too, like, once it gets to that part and we have solidified that we like each other, it's okay. But I have had friends say that they've gotten to the third dates, or they've gotten to dates, and guys are like, they go in, they order, and they like, oh, you gotta go pay. And you're like, huh?
Both of our pays being Kiki.
Don't tell me what I have to do. And if you feel like, here's the thing, as a guy, don't tell me what to do. And if you feel like on the third date where I don't offer, then I might not be the person for you. So then we cut it off after that. But don't tell me I need to pay on the third date. If you then go home and you can reevaluate and be like, you know what? She didn't offer. I don't really like her. Then let's go apart. But don't you be telling, just like no woman, I feel like personally, like I'm not gonna tell no man like you need to no, because I feel like as a woman, if I'm across from the table and he doesn't pay on the first day and he expects me to, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna reevaluate,
You're
and I'm
not
never
for
gonna
me.
call him again.
Yeah,
And that's it.
exactly.
There's no
I
need
think
to
certain
tell
things
anybody.
like that, like you said, they kind of eliminate themselves, because if we get to that point, like I said, I actually, if in my heart, whatever I'm feeling allows me to be willing to, but now you kind of question my heart by coming at my neck. Now I don't want to pay. You know what I'm saying? And I should have never had to in the first place. You know,
Gonna get dessert, and now you ain't getting no goddamn dessert.
You ain't getting no dessert, honey.
Like, relax. I would not like that, because even too, I think that even for me in general, when I think about a long-term relationship, for me, it's the willingness. It's not about the requirement, because even if I think about a relationship I want to get into marriage-wise, I can't always say how much like is the required amounts to be contributing. I don't think that there should be complete gender roles, but I do think that, you know, it's from a willingness of wanting to. I want to care for you. I want to care for our family. I want to take care of this house. So as soon as you start like kind of digging into my heart, making me feel like I ain't showing up as a woman, then I got attitude. You know?
Yes, that's real. What do y'all believe women bring to the table that men can't? During, and we'll say during the dating phase, because as a relationship, I feel like that's a whole different thing.
I think it might be this thing I keep talking about, that feminine energy, especially if you're in a heterosexual situation. I think because, you know, for me, I tend to be an alpha female, but I do know that men like when you are just a little softer and they want to be encouraged. And I think that a lot of men don't have a safe place to just feel like, shit, I had a bad fucking day, babe. Like, can we talk? You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, you get judged a lot. So I think it's a safe space and a really nurturing woman thing that only women can give. Like, that's just something, once you do tap into it, like a woman is going to love you when they really love you. And I think it's different for a man, you know? So I feel like in the beginning, though, it's really just allowing somebody to see, like, I can bring all of those qualities that are priceless, you know, pretty much. But I don't know if it's like a tangible thing or a number for me. I think it's all the being, just like, you can't get this anywhere else, sir. You know?
I wonder, you know what? That's one thing I feel like we need to bring a guy on for and ask, like, wait, because I still don't get it. I still don't understand it, because you can't get all this. I guess, you know, one of my friends told me that it has to be a guy that's just ready. So is his mind made up? Is he ready? Like, it just has to be ready, because I feel like we can bring a lot of things to the table, or feel like we're bringing a lot of things to the table, and still not be that person to get the second date, the third date, or the ring, or whatever.
You are absolutely right.
That you're looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. Because I've seen situations where, like you said, there are women who bring the whole table, the dining set, the goddamn tablecloth, and it doesn't matter. If you're for that person, you're for that person. That person may be like, you brought this to the table, but you're not for me, you know?
Right, because when I went out on a date and he asked this question, I thought it was a great question. I was like, yo, this is a great question. This is a topic we need to talk about, especially that, you know, even when like when Damage came on and was like, y'all need to talk about this with y'all's women, and we were like, yo, y'all need to have conversations with y'all's men.
That part.
So I feel like this is a good conversation for us to have with our queens, but at the same time, we can't stress ourselves enough, because even when he asked the questions, which I was like, oh, this makes for a great conversation, but at the same time, he was like, I just feel like y'all talk too much. And I'm like, well, why are you on this date? What? That's all we like. What
you don't want a chatty patty? Do not call me.
Right? Like, I mean, we haven't talked since. I'm
about to say, that's the thing. I feel like in this day and age, people just don't know how to communicate. So if you think women talk too much, damn, God forbid I want to communicate and we have an adult conversation, you might be offended by that.
And I feel like I'm a catch. You can't tell me nothing. You say,
I know that's right.
What's a 1 to 10? I'm a 10, baby. You might not think
the one and never the two.
Right.
And somebody will think so. You just might not be that guy, but somebody will think so. And if I'm not for me, you're not for me, I'm not for you. Let's just keep it moving. Let's not even date each other and waste each other's time. Life is too short. Let's just go. And if you have a homeboy, Tell him I said what's up.
Exactly, because I'm a sooner than later person. Like, just please don't waste my time. Like, it's okay. Like, I do recognize that everyone's not going to be for me, and I'm not going to be for everybody, and that is okay. But what you will not do is gaslight me and string me along and be, like, wasting my time. Please just let me know, like, I'm not really feeling it, whatever. And I've gotten better about just actually being honest with myself and other people, but it's kind of hard. But like, if I can kind of tell, I'm like, Camille, you don't really like him like that. So why are you even like, what's the reason that you still talking to? Like, you mad at him, but you know
what it is, because that's true. And I've gotten to that point too. And you're right. It's hard. And I want to tell our queens out there, don't take it personal. Yeah. Like, you don't have to be mean about it, but you don't have to take it personal either. If this person does not like you, child, you trying to get to your husband or your significant other, your long-term, whatever you want, like, okay, keep it moving. That was not for you. God didn't have that for you. It only takes one. And that's what I tell everybody. It only takes one. And so don't take it personal. It just was not for you. And that's a good thing. Like, we always look at that as a bad thing, and it's not. Like, at the
rejection
end of the day,
is protection. Sorry to cut you off.
Ooh, that's good.
Right. And that's real. Like, that's a real word. At the end of the day, it really is protection for you, because it's like, why would you want to continue to get, just because it's feeling, just because you have a Cinderella story, that's what I like. Just because you have a Cinderella story in your mind, every dude don't match up to that, or every significant other don't match up to that. And you can't put them in that place just because you want something.
Exactly.
That part. This woman made this dope video where she said women or people who are dating men, when you go into it, you have to remember you do not know these people. Because sometimes when we date, we tend to do that. Oh, we went on the first date. We're going to get married. He's cute. But when you start to go into the thing where I don't know who this man is. So I don't know him. So once things go down south, it's easy for you to be like, oh, it just didn't work out. I do not know him, and it's okay. So I think once we start to get in that notion, and we stop fantasizing, because I'm a fantasizer.
Yes,
I have a whole scenario made up in my head already. I'm like, oh, he would be a cute little boyfriend. No, you don't know him.
Kiki, let me talking about it. That's my husband. That's my husband. But you do not know him.
You don't know him, sis. And I'm talking to myself like, I am a fantasizer. And a lot of us, we fantasize, we meet somebody. Even you see them on Instagram, you're like, oh, he'll be a cute. No, girl, you don't know him. So if we go into that, I think, once again, the rejection is not a rejection, it's more of a protection for you. And it may not make sense now, but you might look back and be like, you know what? I'm happy that didn't work out with that guy, because it just didn't make sense.
Right. Or you look at what you do have and you're like, yo, this was exactly what I asked for. That guy might not have been it. And that's the thing. Like, we can't get too upset about it. I'm with you, Camille, though. I have started being like, you know what? I really don't like him. So I'm going to be honest. It's a little hard, because sometimes you want to just be like, oh, I just want a hug, or I just want,
Yeah. Like, if I'm honest, to be transparent, I have even a situation where I was like, what are you going to do about it? Because I feel like there's certain deal breakers too, where I know like it can't go too far. But then I'm like, but you really cool. And who am I to like say that for 3 months, I can't actually really enjoy you without allowing myself to get to this fantasy world, because that's where it gets tricky. Because I think the more you date someone and you like them, you start to put all these expectations on what you think it should be. But really, it could be simply that this time in this lifetime, me and this guy had this moment and it was great. And for 3-4 months, like, I had the best time. He was satisfying me. We went on amazing dates. And now I'm talking about it for years. But no, you weren't my husband. But I really don't even want to like jeopardize the fact that I had a great moment with you and I took that for life's memories, and that's cool. So I think I have to make sure I'm just not marrying myself off to everybody who is cool. Just because you are, it might just be for that time frame, because when it comes down to life decisions and now we splitting bills and we in the house, you might not be that dude, but you was really cute for vacations, and you was really cute to go bowling, and you was cute when I wanted to get these shoes, and you know what I mean? So it's like, maybe sometimes where it's just like, you was just a moment in time and letting stuff be just your moments, and I
people
think
come in your
for
life for reasons and seasons.
Yeah, because even it can be conversations. Like you said, this guy clearly stimulated a whole conversation that allowed you to now be bossy and have it on your podcast. So he might not even have a place in your life, but it's like, but he planted a seed for a whole episode, So I think we also have to allow ourselves to see where God is placing certain moments of opportunities for us, where it's not even about you. And I think that's a lot of the issue. We start thinking it's like, you have to be my husband. Maybe you were just a lesson. Maybe it was a conversation you had with me about, realizing how important family is, or I don't know. But there's so many things you learn from people people that I think we end up thinking everybody got to be our husband, when it's like, no, you could have really just been a great dinner that allowed me to now be more motivated, or maybe I'm, learning from you or whatever. So I feel like that's the reason I actually like dating now, is because I'm like, I actually know now, like, I don't want to marry everybody. And I think when I was in my early 20s, I was still fantasizing about, the island wedding and the dresses and this and that. But now I'm like, kind of realizing that my fantasies are not real life, and I'm just allowing people to show me who they are. And I'm like, well, what do we want this to be? And I'm going to make it what I want. And actually, there's somebody who I'm going to approach soon, and I'm going to let them know, I actually don't want to be with you. You have quite a deal breaker, but I do feel like you can be really fun for such and such. And do you want to do that? Cool. If not, that's cool too.
Send them this episode link and be like, fast forward to the 30-something mark and listen to this. I have something to tell you.
No, seriously. I literally have it planned. I like kind of talked myself through it already, because it is hard just to be honest, but it's like,
it's hard.
I think you sexy. You think I'm sexy. We can have fun. I don't want to marry you.
Right.
Like, honesty is key. I think it's when you're honest and really you communicate, that's the best. And someone can't get with the program, then they're just not meant to be in the picture.
It really is. But honesty is hard. And that's something that I've been working on too as well, Camille, is like when I'm out on a date, or I call them outings because I don't like to call dates because I feel like you put too much like on them. And you can't really see this person as who they are, or even just like a friend or whatever. Like you said, they're supposed to be in your life at the moment, because everybody comes in your life for a reason. And so, I'm like, okay, so if I'm not feeling you, I used to just like not say nothing. But now I actually am like, how would I want to be treated? Like, okay, hey, like, thanks for the good mornings and everything, but I'm not really feeling this situation. And I think that you're a cool person, but, I'm looking for a little bit more, or I'm looking for something that's a little bit different. Or like you said, just what it is. Hey, you have a deal breaker and this is what it is, but this casual little thing we got going on, I'm down with. Like,
and listen, people appreciate honesty. It may hurt when you rip that band-aid off, but people appreciate that shit, and they don't like to have their time wasted. They might be salty for like an hour or two, but I'm telling you, in the long run, they will appreciate that and be like, yo, she was honest, he was honest, they put it on the front end, and now we know how to move. And that's it. You just
don't want people wasting your time. Like, you can't get time back. You can get bags, you can get shoes, you can get money, you can get that from anywhere, but you can't get time back. Like, we are moving forward with or without, you know what I'm saying? We had a whole year that paused and everybody forgot about it. We all turned another age. We all got older. We all, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you can never get that time back. So I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you wasting my time. So just be honest. And I feel like that has to do with growing up and having communication as well. So.
Right. And that's interesting too, because I feel like after a certain age though, men, I think, know that, because I'm in the 30 party too. I feel like people like, okay, I need to sell her on the house, the kids and everything like that. And I feel like that's a ploy a little bit, because I feel like not all men are ready for that, but they feel like because they know you're dating a woman at a certain age, those are the things that they talk about. So it's interesting that I've recently been honest. I feel like I've relieved a lot of guys. Like, they're kind of like, oh shit, like, I don't have to keep all that up. Like, we can just have fun, and you're okay with just fun. Like, yeah, nigga.
I just need you to be normal and mentally stable at this moment, like in my 30s. Like, I don't talk about all that other shit right now. Just be normal. We'll get to the rest. We'll get to the rest.
I posted this thread, and I know we gotta wrap up, but I posted this thread, and I thought it was so bomb, because the guy was like, yo, back in the days when we had grandfathers and stuff, everybody's like, oh, I want to be like my grandfather. I want to have their marriage. But was the woman happy? Because they was really, relying on usually financial assistance in the home. So the man went out being a provider, but he was also probably making other kids, other families and stuff like that. Now women have the opportunity to do for themselves. You're really not needed for anything. So you have to be likable. And I don't think guys know how to be likable. They don't even know how to come. They're asking us, like, oh, and then you have people like Kevin Samuels, Lord Jesus, or you have all these male gurus, and women are like, really like, oh my gosh, I have to.
I'm anti-male guru, because I hate those people, because all I see is men who post shit like, what should women do? I never see anything directed towards men.
You're not even likable. You get on these dating apps nowadays. I get on these dating apps, and I can have the most entertaining conversation with myself, and they're boring. Boring.
Lazy.
Boring.
It's laziness. Honestly, I feel like, millennials, I'll speak for millennials because I'm a millennial. I feel like millennial men in this day and age are just lazy because now you have the dating app. Now you can sign to someone's DMs. They feel like they don't have to put in the work. And what you said, Monique, is what I'm getting is a bunch of laziness. So now you boring. So I did this thing. The way it's funny, I went on TikTok and now they have all these things that women how to slide into people's DMs on Bumble, but it's like funny sayings to see like if the men catch on. So I was sending all these dumb fucking sayings, and the men were like, "Oh wow, that's so." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" One man called on to it. He was like, "Yo, you know how many girls sent this to me?" And I was like, "Well, here's another one." And he was cool as shit, and we started talking, and we actually started texting. He's like, "Nah, you're mad funny." But I started sending dumb TikTok shit. Like people would send lyrics, people send like dumb messages, and the guys were like, "Oh, this is so cool." I'm like, "Y'all just lazy. Y'all being lazy."
Right, but
they're not
anybody
even
likes
to be
likable.
Right. Come on now. So I think dating, people have gotten either exhausted, they're getting lazy, and I just want these male gurus to go away, these fucking male dating experts, because everyone always bashes women, but no one ever tells men what to do. Until today, when I seen this black guy tweeted, he goes, "Black women, tell us black men what we need to do for you." I was like, that's the first, I think, man, that I've ever seen. And I'm going to repost it on my story. And he's like, leave the comments below. And all the women seeing their comments made me sad. Because I was like, damn, that's horrible. Like a lot of women have never felt these things and they're listing the things that they want because women were always being dumped on. So anti fucking dating relationship experts, because they ain't no damn expert.
Right, because the dating phase is supposed to be fun, but it's like now you have to learn how to teach yourself how it's going to be fun because these guys, like, I can't even get to a second date and I'm a catch. I'm sorry. Like, I show up with the greatest personality because Monique Flawless is my alter ego, and she shows up bomb. Okay, like she has great personality. She's feminine. She's like, So I just feel like at the end of the day, I just feel like, we can't take it personal. And when it comes to guys, I feel like, as much as we can talk to our women, we are taking the approach, and we're going to talk about this on our next episode because our female orgasm episode is coming up. But we literally, like, dick is not enough. Like, let's just be real, because I'm going to reiterate this on the next episode. Female penetration only has let me say it right. 18.4% of women have orgasms during penile penetration. 18.4%. Do you know how small that is?
Very small for all the women.
So why are you out here trying to slang it everywhere?
Listen,
I feel like people can't read minds. So you got to tell them, even when it comes to sex, what you want, how you want it, dates. I wrote a guide for my last boyfriend. I made a whole list of the things that I felt like could be good ideas.
Girl, you need to publish that.
Yes. I thought about it actually. Okay, for real, because I think that guys they're just not creative, like you said, and they're lazy, and they actually do want you to tell them because they don't actually like, I think, also rejection. So it feels like if I put all my time into trying to do this and she thinks I'm corny or, it ain't work, or, you know what I'm saying? It's not appreciated. Then they get wounded and they don't want to do any kind of sappy stuff anymore. And also they sometimes just don't know. Cause I think once again, we go into relationships and everyone's brand new. It's a brand new slate. So maybe the last girl didn't like picnics. Maybe she wasn't an outdoorsy person, but I think that's cute and sexy. But you should know those things. So I feel like I literally wrote a list, and it was small stuff because I also really like the thoughtful things. Like for me, money's cool, but it's going to be really those things that you take the time to do that are outside the box, like you were saying,
I agree.
And I feel like those are the things that guys struggle with, but we secretly hope they always do it, and we become disappointed. So if you just know what I like and I give you a list from the beginning, you know what's going on, Camille. Now you can pick. We got like 10, 15 things here. Just whenever you want, pull it out the box, boo. And you're going to be happy because I told you I liked it already.
And that's true. That's true. Maybe we just need to be more vociferous about it as well as women. We can just speak up and say, hey, like, he's not a mind reader, and I had to tell myself this one day too, like, okay, you might want to be surprised, but at the same time, you have to say that. You could say, you know what? I like to be surprised with flowers. Put those keywords in there. Yes. I like to be surprised with flowers. I don't just like flowers. Like, I want to be, even though I don't like flowers, I have to tell guys that all the time. I'm like, I'm not a flower girl. Don't buy me flowers because that's a waste of money to me.
See, and that's different. I'm a flower girl, so maybe me and you had the same guy, and then he came to me, never get me flowers.
Right.
And I'm like, nigga, I like flowers, but it's like, you didn't tell me you didn't like? She told me she didn't like flowers, but you like them? Like, how is he supposed to know that?
That is very true. We want surprises, but you gotta let them know that we want surprises. I feel like we love our kings and our queens, no matter wherever you at, what you go through. But we love. I feel like we love our kings and our queens, and maybe that's really what it is. Speaking up, just having that communication. We don't communicate as people.
No.
I feel like we're so scared to hurt people's feelings.
Yes, and this whole Instagram world and just social media and then texting. Like, I come from a world where I used to fall asleep on the phone with guys, and I used to like talking a lot, and I like someone to actually check in. And I think that's the part that's maybe the hardest for me now about being single, is knowing that there was somebody who actually you're kind of obligated to see how I was and how my day was, and I know I have someone to share things with. And I think now it's like, you call somebody and he don't have to answer the phone, and he don't even have to call you back, and you can't even get mad. And then that makes me mad. You know what I'm saying? So I just have to, I think, adjust to, I think getting comfortable maybe too soon and putting a lot of expectations on things, when it's just like, let it be light, let somebody show you what's happening, and then I'm gonna hit you with my list.
Right. I love the list. I think you should publish it. I think it'll be a great little publishing thing. Like, let us know. We'll put it up on our site.
You done planted the seed. I might just do it. Do it.
I'm all about my queen. So yes, we are so glad that you came, Camille. We had such a great, we didn't get through all the topics, but I think we covered a good amount of things.
Yes, I'm so glad we could chat.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about it, get it out, let people hear this, let guys hear it, let other queens hear it. And I'm glad that you really came on and talked to us about it and was very open and transparent with us. But
girl.
Let our Queendom family know where they can find you.
Yes, so I am at officially Cammy, and that's CAMMI on all platforms. So I stay pretty active on IG. So if you want to stay connected with me, you can slide in my DMs. Hey, y'all. I'm also on YouTube, so follow me. And I do Cammy's Kitchen. So I do quick, tasty meals for girls on the go, guys too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm just out here getting it, doing music, acting, and loving life. So follow me.
I know that's right. Make sure y'all follow her. And Kiki, let them know where they can find you.
Yes, Cammy, you were such a treat. Thank you so much for coming on with us. Absolutely love you. You have to come back when TK Jacks. We could do like a part 2 to this. You guys can find me inside in my DMs. Okay, don't be afraid to shoot your shot at Kiki Boom Boom on all social media platforms as well.
And you can find me at It's Monique Loveless on IG. Also, you can slide in my DMs if you want to, depending on the day, I may give you a little play, but, also make sure you follow us on all platforms at Queens Uncut. Also follow our YouTube channel so you can see us, at Black Queens Uncut. And listen, tune in every Wednesday as we have a new episode dropping. We are in season 3. Make sure you catch up in season 1 and 2. We know we have some extra people in the building now because we are now in 44 countries.
Hey,
no, that's right.
So, we love you guys. We thank you, and make sure you catch up and tune in because we got more good content coming for you. Thank you, Cammy, for joining the Queendom family.
Thank you guys so much. Seriously, both of you guys are amazing. So great to meet you, Kiki. Mo, you always been my girl, so I had to show up. I was like, listen, we hadn't even caught up in a minute, so this is good to see your face.
I know, since like last Juneteenth.
Yeah, and I haven't just run into you at that point, so it's been really good to be able to stay in touch and see you doing dope things. So yeah.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. And we love you, Queendom family. Bye.
Bye.